Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Broadcast.gg's coverage of the European Open Division Season 3. And today we have an exciting matchup for you between Unprofessional and Free Guinea Pigs. Today I am joined by the amazing and awesome Pulsable. Hello, Pulsable.
Hello.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for some exciting Overwatch.
Excellent, excellent. And on my over here to my right here is Beatdown Boulevard.
Hello.
Hi there. How's it going today?
Great. Just watched some Overwatch World Cup. Now I'm ready to watch some Open Division.
Oh, excellent, excellent. And you know what? I am Sabriel. I should also introduce myself, I guess.
That'd be all right.
Might be a little important.
I know, right? I'm just here, you know.
Oh, by now
Anyway.
people know who you are.
I just go in expecting it, so whatever.
Exactly.
So, Possible, I want to talk about Unprofessional. What can you tell us about what we have going on here today?
Well, first and foremost, I'd just like to mention on the desk, both these teams today are 6-2. The cutoff for playoffs is 8-2. Neither of them can afford to lose this match, and Unprofessional, it's looking a little shaky. They have a new main tank this week. It is going to be Cyanide, coming in, brand new to this team. And not only, as if that wasn't tricky enough, bringing in a new main tank last week of Open Division, they also have two substitutes coming in for both of their support players, Tetrix and Flauschie, coming in, brand new to this team, subbing in. They've played with him before in scrims, supposedly, but who knows how well that synergy is going to transfer over.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm excited to see how this works out because, like we said, we've seen Unprofessional here before, and to see like all these new players here, it's kind of going to be exciting to see here.
Oh, undoubtedly. Especially since one of their subs is coming in for the person who replaced Ginger, who was sort of someone we looked to on this team last time they were on broadcast 3 weeks ago as kind of like a star player, sort of. He played for the team's second wind, a contenders team, so you would think he brings a lot of strategy, a lot of leadership to this team. He's gone now. Their main tank's gone, and they have another sub in. So you're really looking for those founded players, Lewis, J-Dog, and Nostalgia, to try and hold this team together.
I can't wait to see how it goes. Beatdown. We've got the Free Guinea Pigs. Kind of a little bit unknown for us here, but what can you tell us about the Free Guinea Pigs?
Well, so far, an interesting fact about them is that both their tank players actually enjoy to play. They prefer to play the main tank role, which could actually be really good for their synergy because both of them understand what the main tank should be doing, what their main tank will probably be doing. So I think that'll do wonders for their tank line.
And we have an interesting player here. We have Axel Buyback, who seems to have quite an expansive hero pool.
Well, it's true. From what we know about the rest of the team, Axel is actually one we don't know very much about. He's listed as a flex for them, so I think you should keep an eye out on him because I am very curious to see how deep his hero pool actually goes.
The Guinea Pigs here, they seem to be relatively new this season here, but they're doing pretty well. Expand on that a little bit further for us?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, both these teams are actually pretty new. Unprofessional came into Open Division. They formed as a team merely like 2 weeks before Open Division started, and it's not much of a different story for Guinea Pigs.
No, it's not. They're both teams being new and having a good shot at playoffs. Honestly, kudos to the both of them, but unfortunately, only one of them's gonna make it out of this one.
Yeah, it's gonna, after 5 weeks and getting this far into it, and oh man, I can just imagine how that's feeling right now for our players.
Oh, this is pretty like classic like anime, right? Like the two rookies both looking good, but only one can make the finals.
Exactly.
So Lewis here on Unprofessional seems to be a pretty good player at one of these tanks.
Last time we saw Lewis on broadcast, I for one was incredibly impressed with how well his Zarya play was. Right, this is a DPS player. We see DPS flex over to Zarya every now and again when that 3 tank 3 support composition comes out, which is pretty common in this meta, and I think it's going to be really common for Unprofessional, considering that it's relative to some compositions like Dive or some of these high coordination compositions. The 3-3 is more simplistic. So the low synergy coming in from Unprofessional, potentially low synergy, I should say. They're going to be looking to make up that deficit with just solid team play on that 3-3. I'm betting.
Oh yeah, 3-3 is my go-to strat when I'm in comp or some of my open division teams here. We work. It's like, let's just do this because you work really well when you're forced to work together in a clump.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Beatdown, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree. I think Unprofessional is going to probably play those slightly less coordinated compositions just to make up for the fact that they are relatively new. I'm expecting that I'm still hoping that they'll bring out like certain compositions because these are all still very good players. They know how things should be played, so there's a good chance that skill, that knowledge, can make up for the gap in the coordination. Whereas Guinea Pigs, they've been playing together this whole season. They definitely have a lot more synergy on paper, so it's expected that they'll probably play more coordinated strats. I bet we'll see the dive out of them and things like that.
Yeah, and to speak on that, I would like to correct. Apparently, I misspoke earlier. The substitutes coming in have not scrimmed with Unprofessional, so this is a dry run for them. I apologize for that mistake.
Right into the fire. All right, I think our games are getting ready to get going here. So we are joined today, our casters. We have Richrad and Hurix. And Richrad, I want to throw it to you. Take it away.
Hello, and how are you doing? I am here with my amazing co-caster, Horix. Horix, how are you doing today?
Good, man. Real good. Excited to get into this one. I mean, Unprofessional versus Free Guinea Pig. The analysts lined it up for us, real nice, tied it up in a bow for us and everything. But, so yeah, we got two really solid teams here, two teams that cannot lose this matchup. It's very important for them. Obviously, the playoff cutoff is right there. Whoever loses this will not make it, but whoever takes it does have that shot.
Indeed, and especially now going on to Lijiang Tower is the first one. What do you think we're going to see coming out onto this map here?
Well, that's the big question here because, I mean, on Lijiang Tower, you always have that option of, going goats. That's something that, teams that may not have too much experience together, which we have noted for these teams, especially Unprofessional, who haven't really scrimmed together at all, or rather actually literally have not scrimmed together at all. That's something that they can actually pull out. We might see variants of goats where they do play triple tank, where we might see an Ana into that lineup as well. That's something that has come out, and teams have kind of displayed as well, just instead of the Moira, just due to the fact that Ana is just so strong right now. The nano boost buff was just, I mean, such a big boon to Ana's loadout. I mean, it's absolutely, you can't even speak completely on it, but there's also a bunch of different stuff, like, right, you have Chaos Comp where you see, Doomfist, Sombra, Hammond, things of that nature. It's tough to expect what we're going to get from these two teams because, I don't even think some of these teams really even know what they want to do because they haven't scrimmed together. So I think a lot of this is going to be maybe reactionary team comps, just going into this kind of doing something that speaks to their confidence levels on individual heroes, and then picking reactionary hero choices that deal with the opposition.
I agree with you, and you now see the team of Unprofessional moving on this upper high ground here on the left side, seeing if they can get some early engage opportunity. It will be a knockback there on to Nostalgia, needing to be careful as they look for a follow-up charge. Does get the pin, an early pick coming out here onto Sweden, and the numbers advantage are now into Unprofessional as they transition down to the low ground just before this control point becomes active.
Oh, J-Dog, I think he had a little mouse error there. He was unable to turn his mouse for a while, just walked into the wall, but it allowed them to find an opening with Nostalgia falling. But now we'll have to see if Unprofessional can turn back around with this freeze, possibly onto the Zarya.
And J-Dog getting a nice wall in there to separate the team, trying to push them back. Sweden also going to go down once again here on that Reinhardt. But the Graviton is going to come out by Guinea Pigs, seeing if they can push back Unprofessional. Getting a follow-up here, having some nice buffer coming out by the Lucio for Unprofessional, using that sound barrier to keep them alive to hopefully contest this still. Both teams still going at it with the self-destruct now coming in the back by Guinea Pigs, trying to get a kill. Doesn't manage to get anything, but does at least get the D-Mech, following up immediately onto Nostalgia now for that Reinhardt being taken out, as it will finally transition to Guinea Pigs.
I mean, you look at Sika, he was able to get that Graviton surge so quickly, and that gave them the momentum that they needed to drive the rest of that fight forward. Really in the driver's seat on that one. you know, you see Lewis and J-Dog, they have the option for their combo coming up shortly, and they're going to really need to make sure that that doesn't get eaten up by NBZ here for them to be able to find these.
And now the Graviton with the self-destruct in the back, but a beautiful sound barrier coming out to try and keep them alive, even though the bionic grenade is going to land, trying to push them back. Guinea Pigs in a difficult spot right now, but trying to recover from it. It will be Unprofessional now starting to gain the kills, having the numbers advantage with only 3 members remaining here by Free Guinea Pigs.
I mean, you look at the toolkit for Ana, and yes, you know, the Biotic Grenade is so strong. You see the changes to Nano Boost, but that Biotic Grenade that we saw from Tetrix, yes, he died, but, you know, just having that big anti-heal inside of that Graviton Surge allowed them to find those kills after the Graviton Surge actually went down. But these two teams have just been brawling each other back and forth.
And they really have to, but now the Earth Shatter is going to come out on the front, able to get Nostalgia, buying a little bit of time with a Nano Boost. Blizzard going to now start locking them up. Guinea Pigs must look to fall back. So much happening right now as ultimates will be unleashed. J-Dog locking them down with the Blizzard, allowing them a lot of opportunity here, and still manage to hold on to Nostalgia's Earth Shatter.
So we still see them running that Goats comp, right? So, you know, Axel's still playing this Brig. They're looking like they want to take a different route, but otherwise everything is going to look mostly the same in terms of their execution. You know, everything here. We're going to see Sika just jumping in to get the Graviton in as well.
With the self-destruct now coming in the back, trying to get it, but the wall is going to be there to prevent it. Able to prevent that incoming damage, as it's still going to be in favor of Unprofessional. They are very overextended. If you do see... Oh, and a great wall once again to try and separate the team. But now it's starting to be Guinea Pigs looking to get the advance right now, trying to swing around the backside, getting back into the mech by NBZ, able to keep them away from this point, and hopefully going to try and turn this around. 62% and still climbing here for Unprofessional, as now another Graviton is going to come out, generating these so quickly. Fight after fight. Both of the Zarias on either team just getting them so quickly as they're so very close to getting it. Guinea Pigs wanting to turn this back around as they're now looking to approach this 75% and still climbing. Getting, oh goodness, another Earth Shatter coming out by Nostalgia in the back, looking to get a follow-up pin, and they're going to be able to keep it. Still turning it back. They were able to get a few percentage numbers here, but it will be switched back again by Unprofessional.
The power of these Zarias here. I mean, you can see what Lewis is able to do. 64% towards his next Graviton Surge. He used his in the last fight, already almost ready to go with yet another one. He still has that high energy, so certainly could come online with that very quickly, and might be what they need to be able to hold this one out and take the win here.
Rally is going to be used now by Axel in the back, trying to see if they can generate it, getting it onto it to keep it contested, but a pin is going to come out into the back as well. Self-destruct high overhead. Is it going to claim anything as the sound barrier comes out by Guinea Pigs as well? Here comes the Graviton now by Lewis in the back, seeing if they can try and turn this around with the overtime still ticking. Beautiful Earth Shatter claiming too as Nostalgia follows up with J-Dog. A double kill for Nostalgia as they're looking to get these last few members off the point. Overtime will tick away if they can prevent them from staying on this, getting faster and faster the longer they go, and round one is going to go to Unprofessional.
And think about how crazy it is to see a comp like this work against Goats. I mean, a comp that's built around coordination and brute force, to be able to be dismantled like that by a comp, you know, just really kind of playing off of isolation. We saw J-Dog on the May pick, and that I think was very, very integral and their, you know, their execution, the way that they wanted to deal with the Goat style composition that does wreak havoc at this level, it seems, you know, at any level, really. It's just such a strong composition. And now they're going to swap up the way that they want to, you know, deal with this. We see LWS coming in here. He's going to be on the Sombra, possibly the Doomfist. It looks like they're going to actually drop the Reaper and instead go to the Sombra. So they are going to be running that Chaos style that I was talking about, right? So we're going to see the Sombra going for disables. We're going to see that Doomfist also just kind of going around and CCing as well. So really looking for control here.
And they're swiftly trying to move to the point, both looking to contest outside before transitioning to the control point. 15 seconds until it does become active. Now starting to engage. You get LWS in the back with another beautiful bionic grenade landing on a 2, preventing the healing as J-Dog manages to get the pick onto NBZ, taking out that mech, getting very low on the entire team of Guinea Pigs, going down, taking down Wrecking Ball. In addition, Axel will be brought down as well, since the numbers advantage are now in favor of Unprofessional. They're gonna look to try and transition now and take this point.
J-Dog going forward, looking to get more hacks too. I mean, so far this has really worked out for them, right? I mean, going for control has completely worked out for them. They're finding late kills as well, and that's just going to kind of buy them more time while they already have that capture point in their control. They're going to claim that progress basically innately now, and we're going to see, while, yes, they do have a kind of chaotic comp from Free Guinea Pig, it's really just been about control, and it's all been Unprofessionals.
And now they're going to have the Graviton just around the wall. They do not see it, pulling them together with a combination of the EMP by J-Dog, and they're going to clear right now. Beautiful positioning, and as you said, that control, being ready, the communication to generate an entire team kill here. How do you think Guinea Pigs is going to have to respond to this?
Well, they're going to start, really getting their ultimates up, not having that Zarya to be able to get that Graviton Surge. That was something of a boon for both squads in that last map. Lewis is really kind of lending to their ability to just sustain in some of these fights.
Now going to get the EMP in return on the backside by Sika, seeing if they can get into the back line, but LWS now has the nano boost on the Doomfist, does go down. This is where Guinea Pigs now are going to start to overwhelm the back line, shutting them down and trying to transition this back. Primal Rage finally going to end here on the Monkey for Nostalgia going down, as they're going to switch it back very quickly with a great turnaround here.
I mean, that was all on momentum, right? I mean, you talk about the first fight, how it was just so handily in favor of Unprofessional. We saw the great bite of Grenade come in from Tetrix that really kind of lined things up for them. And then finally some ults come online for Free Guinea Pig, and then they are able to take the point. Now it's going to be a back and forth, though, as it's Unprofessional's turn to kind of dictate the pace of this next engagement.
Buffering with the sound barrier in the back. It also will be the minefield to try and zone them away on the and coming out by the Wrecking Ball for Victor in the back, now having the Meteor Strike land as well, trying to see if he can get that early pick. Does manage to get the tank out from both sides, so it's still a 5v5 right now as the self-destruct comes out in front, hoping to get a kill, not gonna gain anything, still maintaining 2 support ultimates now on Guinea Pigs as they try to continue sustaining here, and it will most likely be Unprofessional trying to just look at to fall back now, especially with Lewis getting knocked out of the mech.
So one thing that's in favor, certainly, of Free Guinea Pig is the fact that these fights that they've been in control of have lasted a little bit longer. So, given the fact that this is control point, this is certainly going to be in their favor now that they are going to be able to likely tie up the score here before this next fight.
All right, 55% and climbing still. They're in a good position there. Here comes the engage, though, with the Winston getting the nano boost along with the EMP, but sound barrier coming out by Cameron in the back, keeping them alive with the rally in addition, prepping for that self-destruct in the back, which isn't going to be able to claim any lives, looking to push them away from this point. They are still staggered and not in a good position. Bionic Grenade does land. NBC finally going to get DMAC. That's an opportunity for them to exploit an EMP in return, though, coming out by Guinea Pigs to see if they can try and prevent this team from capitalizing on this point as the fight continues here on the front, with LWS doing everything possible to take out this Sombra and not being able to really gain much more, with the Meteor Strike finally coming in the back. Still in favor of Guinea Pigs, though.
Such a good way for them to just deal with a mech, because Lewis, on that Diva was really huge, and they might actually find some late kills here as well as people try to get back onto the point, try to make their way. I mean, looking at the beginning of the fight, it was all about control, and it was all in Unprofessional's favor, but that has completely turned back around so far.
LWS now barely getting there to keep it into overtime, along with the EMP going to come out, but immediately going down. NBC and the rest of Guinea Pigs completely preventing this team from getting onto the point. Unprofessionals not able to get there to keep it going, and will be able to claim round 2.
I mean, look at the big shift, right? The big pivot that we saw. Unprofessionals, they were looking good throughout that, entire first couple of fights. And then we see things start clicking now for Free Guinea Pig. You see the way that they start dealing with individuals, certain problems, some pain points that have kind of really been a struggle for them throughout this set. And Axel on this Brig is a big reason why they were able to do that. You see him kind of zoning out the Diva as well. So Lewis isn't able to actually assist his teammates, especially his main tank, and they can kind of find holes there and really kind of exploit those weaknesses by taking the Diva out, creating more isolations for themselves.
And again, just commending them wanting to respond effectively. Now, as we have 20 seconds until the control point does become active, they're already in that frontline position, waiting to see what Unprofessional is going to do. They move from that backline position, trying to contest, hoping to get an early pick, but again, Bionic Grenade going to force out Victor, not able to generate any healing right now, has to fully retreat around the corner, so it is a 6v5 until he can manage to get back, and now regrouping with a pile driver on the point in the backline, getting some great assistance and knockup on the entire team of Unprofessional. NBC now getting the first execution here onto Tetrix. That Ana going down. Only two supports remaining. J-Dog getting that great assistance in the back, but now it will be the Lucio going down. 2 supports not available for Unprofessionals as the press does begin. It will be Guinea Pigs turning it over and now starting to press Unprofessional back.
It's crazy though, because Unprofessional, they've been so consistent with the biotic grenades. I mean, Tetrix has been a force to be reckoned with throughout this set. And even still, it's Free Guinea Pig coming up with a lot of these fights. And even on top of that, Sweden Victor on this Hammond, he's got the mines ready to go. Like, he's got his ultimate. He could have used that to just full clear the point, but he didn't have to. So now he's going to have it for this next fight. And going through White Room like this, it's certainly begging for disaster with this Hammond.
And now the EMP is going to come out immediately. Perfect timing. No ultimate's going to be used by Unprofessional, but Guinea Pigs needing to be careful. They don't want to expend all of the ultimates, and they still manage to keep 3. 2 support ultimates, the rally, the sound barrier, along with the self-destruct going into this, because they know that Unprofessional is going to have this whole team's worth of ultimate economy.
But for Unprofessional, they really kind of hope that they actually get something out of this. Obviously, you know, if they go into this fight, utilize, you know, 3 to 4 of these ultimates and they don't get the point, which is certainly possible given the sound barrier here, they could very well be looking down the barrel of a loss right here.
And the Graviton does land Bionic Grenade to follow. Self-destruct claiming 2. 2 supports are going to go away. Still only having the Moira remaining here for Guinea Pigs. Triple kill total, with one of them being the D-Mech here for LWS on the D.Va. And there's that clean sweep, but I honestly feel that they used 5 ultimates here. I think that was a little bit overdone there.
Yeah, I mean, Tetrix was the one person to be able to hold on to that there, as we see him still kind of holding that ammo boost. That's going to be big for them, especially to get a reset onto Nostalgia should it be required, or maybe even LWS. But look at this quick engage and a big Biotic again.
Getting down the kill, able to follow up onto it. Tetrix getting the kill. Earthshatter to follow up now. It was able to be generated, forcing them back on this bridge position, which the environmental kills are going off. It will be a great knockoff onto both NBZ and to J-Dog, as it's going to force them back, allowing Unprofessional to still generate some percent here on this point.
Tetrix is absolutely nutty throughout, but you can see how much chaos they want to create here. What an EMP to start the fight, though.
Seeing if they can try and convert this over now. 72% will start to happen if they can prevent them with the Coalesce. It's going to be used, and still manages to keep NBZ with the self-destruct as they force them again back on this bridgeway, hoping not to have a late stagger here.
You can see them pulling back, control back in favor of Free Guinea Pig as they're holding the bridge. A lot of big sleep darts coming out. Really kind of see if they could get that opportunity. Oh, Nostalgia off the side.
Oh, and a follow-up here onto J-Dog. Oh, goodness, that's a great knockoff right now. Environmental kills coming onto almost the entire team of Unprofessional. 95%, seeing if they can try and buy some time here with only 1 member remaining. Not going to do it. Oh, but they too managed to keep it. Goodness, this is going to tick away very quickly, seeing if they can get back, only having a few seconds remaining. It is going to be the D-Mech now onto LWS, which is going to go down. Ryan being the only one left. Nostalgia going to get hacked, not going to charge, nobody home, and that's going to be round 1 going to Free Guinea Pigs.
And so back and forth there. I mean, despite Tetrix's best efforts, they wind up losing the match. So many clutch biotic grenades that really kind of turned the tides of certain fights, or rather should have turned the tides of certain fights as well, because they really just had so much efficacy with that toolkit on the Ana. I certainly expect to see more of that from them in the future as we go into some more, I guess, structured maps, some less chaos for them, because that's really where we saw, you know, the side of Free Guinea Pig actually really coming into stride.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Again, them coming in and scrapping it out. And honestly, the tail end of that fight, their positioning was perfect to get those environmental follow-ups. That allowed them to claim victory right at the end of it. The double kill with the knockback, followed up by both the Wrecking Ball and the D.Va Jet Rocket. That was just huge for them to isolate them away from it. And they were already in a dangerous spot here going over that bridgeway. It is so difficult for you to try and do anything in the very last percentages of that map. And it's like, do I really want to take the back road? We're not going to have enough time. We don't seem to really generate a lot of opportunity, so we have to risk it. And it just spelled disasters for Unprofessional.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing here with Free Guinea Pig is they really kind of played well when they were actually able to kind of dictate this aggressive style, whereas Unprofessional, who wanted to get into the fight, they wanted to kind of compose themselves, they wanted to set up, they wanted to execute a strategy. All of that went to the wayside when Free Guinea Pig just threw their Hammond into the deep end. Yes, Tetrix was able to answer that a few times, and that gave them a really big momentum shift that's in certain cases. Free Guinea Pig, when they had control, it was their game to win. We saw a couple of situations where, you know, Axel was there, ready to, throw out a bunch of stuff with the setup on the Brig. We saw Sweden Victor going in with the Hammond as well. I really like the way that those two played in tandem as well, just kind of making space, forcing space rather, for their backlines. So Free Guinea Pig, when they were in control, they had so much room to work with. Unprofessional just really couldn't kind of find any kind of tight grip on the matchup until they actually wound up using ults. And then once they used them, or once they had them, I feel like they kind of overspent them a little bit, especially towards that latter end where they were really kind of desperate to find a way onto the point and make sure that they actually get a foothold. So I would really like to see them, dealing with the chaos a little bit more. And then also when they execute a strategy, make sure that they're not overusing, make sure that they're keeping in mind the ultimate efficiency just as much as they are the actual use of the ultimates themselves.
And, just to touch a little bit too on that discussion about the Wrecking Ball dividing that team, we've seen that become more and more of a, benefit in the grand scale, because it can just really just separate a team, causing a lot of harass and just the disruption as a whole, which again, Free Guinea Pigs are using so much to their advantage on this team of Unprofessional that they're being able to flourish, and it's allowing them now to be comfortable and starting to contest against them in a very positive way. And now that we're going to be moving on to Rialto, what do you think we're going to see in this composition as a whole? What do you think? I mean, we're going to probably see some FAR, but what else do you think we'll see coming out?
Well, I would definitely like to see more of Tetrix on Ana. I mean, I think that's a given here. Yes, there are some other options. Yes, you can play Mora. Yes, you can play Zen even in this meta, despite what a lot of people are thinking. Zen is still viable. Yes, it is. But given the strength of Ana and how good Tetrix is on that particular hero, absolutely, you got to play him on it. I mean, he was really enabling your team in a lot of those situations, but and on top of that, to have that extra ability to start dealing with some of the chaos by creating another option for control through the sleep dart, as well as really being able to kind of fend for himself in some cases with the biotic grenade, being able to really kind of push people away and deny certain flanks as well. I think the Ana is the go-to here. The real question is it going to be Sombra based or is it going to be Widow based? Because with Rialto, with the way that this map works, Widowmaker is incredibly strong, but so is Sombra, and especially with the flanking routes that you can take as a Sombra and the hacks that you can get on some of these health packs to really kind of deny an enemy team points of progression, that I would be really looking at those two heroes to have a tremendous impact. And given what we see right now on the defensive side and even what Sick is playing, I would imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of Sombra and a lot of oppression going on here.
And it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it once they acknowledge that both team has that Sombra play. It will be now Guinea Pigs, as you said, on the attack with Unprofessional on the defense as the doors open, and Sika almost getting pulled out into the open. Rocket almost claiming some early damage here to get that vision available, as we do now start to see them maneuver this payload forward. Going around the corner again, still trying to maintain this high ground. Unprofessional keeping up top. Now with the rockets coming out with that pharmacy composition. Sika in the back trying to harass, almost getting picked off, forced to translocate, getting out of this position as they're going to now continue to try and get this engaged with a pile drive coming out and starting to get some stun. Seeing if they can maneuver this team into this courtyard area to try and find some sight lines in this open position. And they're just having a difficult time really holding against this slow momentum.
Yeah, Sweden Victor looking for the opportunity, but Barrage already out from Lewis, and he gets it done.
Following up with a triple, one of them being the DMAC. There's the cleanup. That's exactly what they needed, forcing them in that pipeline and getting so many picks onto Guinea Pigs.
I mean, you definitely have to make sure that you have something for the barrage, especially when you know Lewis is just pumping those rockets into your team. Yes, you looked healthy, but you have to kind of just make sure that you're keeping an eye on that, tracking that kind of thing. NBZ was on the Diva here. He's going to swap to the Reinhardt, actually, but he should have been one of those potential answers. You have Stansky with the Sleep Dart. You had Sika with the Sombra as well for the hack, but nothing was there for them, and now it's just, once again, the Lewis show as he backs up the entire team basically by himself, and especially off the back of that concussive blast.
And having already 82% already ready when this engage happens to have the rocket barrage. You do see J-Dog over top, a nice boob trying to get the kill, doesn't get the environmental, as they're now going to look to reposition. 5 ultimates available here for Unprofessional, and doing a stellar job continuing to keep this team of Guinea Pigs back. Here comes the EMP to engage, but unfortunately does go down. Rocket barrage again as the sound barrier by Cameron is going to try and give them an opportunity to maneuver forward with a great push right now. Nano boost is going to be used on the Lucio. might have incorrectly shot that at the character, but seeing who they were going to follow up with, Bionic Grenade trying to prevent Nostalgia on the front, seeing if they can get that pick away from the team, harassing in the corner, wanting to get the kill onto this Brigitte to shut him down, but isn't going to be able to do it, starting to force the retreat with Minefield now going to zone them away and giving them some opportunity now to reach this checkpoint.
We're going to see Lewis, almost taken down, but luckily does have the backup of at least one of his supports. Did get rezzed up there, so he's going to be able to just get ever closer to that barrage, something that they might actually need here as they re-engage, looking to contest once again.
Nostalgia needing to be careful, just tucked around the corner, does not want to get taken out early in this fight, just under 3 meters, and they're going to actually reach it. Oh, but there comes the contest, jumping onto it with that monkey to keep it going, as it will be Axel getting an early pick onto J-Dog, a 6v5 in favor of Guinea Pigs, now going to get the D-Mech as they're starting to trickle away for Unprofessional.
See the barrage ready. There it is as well with the nano boost. He's looking to try to take him down. Shield goes down as well. Lewis, 2K, and it's a big one at that. But already with the capture points, not going to really matter too much here.
And that damage is already done. A nice boop coming onto Tetrix, another late stagger, and now they're going to need to be careful here. Again, we see it so much, on this map, they struggle in that third point, and we're going to see if they'll be able to get to it.
So now, once again, I mean, we're going to be seeing them just kind of reconvene, make sure that they have the ability to jump onto this payload here. It looks like they're going to use this corner, but already it seems like Nostalgia perhaps caught out for a moment there, and now looking to re-engage now that his team is here.
Both tanks now dropping to the main ground. The Bionic Grenade landing onto 3, giving them some opportunity. 2 minutes and 50 seconds. The Primal Rage is going to be forced out, trying to knock them off the edge, but not being able to do it. Being pressed back once again. Oh my goodness, almost getting knocked off the follow-up now by Cameron in the back. J-Dog overhead just looking to get some extra damage, having to translocate out, and Guinea Pigs again still continuing this momentum with another ultimate coming out by Victor.
Yeah, that was so impressive the way that they utilized that and just kind of controlled that zone. Now he's going to go forward, should be able to find the kill on Sombra. Might lose his life in the process though, as he does have some protection, not even just from his support, but also luckily his off tank or the flex was there with Sika, as Nostalgia probably going to be losing his life before the fight even starts here.
And they're going to use that res early. J-Dog back online. Lewis getting the Picto onto Victor in the back, able to at least get rid of that harass by the Wrecking Ball. NBZ, Rocket Barrage coming out as well, once again by Lewis, assisted with the increased damage overhead by the Mercy, continuing to keep Unprofessional onto this defensive hold, hoping to slow this momentum, which they have yet to really do.
I mean, it's so crazy too, because with this Pharah, they've been able to accomplish so much, but they just haven't been able to get the fights the way that they wanted. Oh, what an EMP!
And the
self-destruct.
In the self-destruct, as you said in the back, NBZ gonna go down with the with the mech kill onto Victor. I believe that was the remech kill for them to be pushed back. Oh goodness.
It's crazy. Like, I haven't seen that in a, quite so often, but it seems like in the last 6 months I've seen it probably like a dozen or 24 times. It's crazy how often it happens now, but nonetheless that is interesting to take note of, as it did happen. But look at the positioning of Lewis here.
And the Graviton is going to come out, pulling them together, going to lock down both tanks. The D-Mech coming out, Rocket Barrage going to be used, but not going to gain any value out of it. And here comes once again that consistent movement. Finding that opportunity to isolate the 2 tanks on the front line away from the rest of the team of Unprofessional, and now they're in a desperation mode.
So right now we're going to see them change up their composition, because despite the fact that the Pharah is doing a lot of damage, they have to get some more control here.
Now we're having the minefield on the point. Nano Boost going to come out as well onto that MB. Reinhardt with only a few meters left to go. They're completely forcing them away. Only going to have the loop in the back by Unprofessional, as the entire team is going to be pressed back, seeing if they can keep this going, pushing them one after another. And there is a swift completion into that room.
And again, Tetrix had a couple of nasty sleep darts, nasty biotic grenades, but it just wasn't quite enough for the rest of his team. I mean, Lewis even had a phenomenal showing as well, especially on that Pharah, where we saw him, getting a lot of the resources. They were allocating a lot to that Pharah because there wasn't really too much of an answer to him, and it was kind of working out. But, when your whole team kind of disintegrates under the pressure of that chaotic, brawl that's happening on the floor, Sweet and Victor kind of leading the charge on the Hammond with that particular style of composition, the way that they fight. It's tough to make sure that the rest of your team is alive long enough for them to reap the benefits of you able to, put out the pressure with that nano boosted barrage that does actually keep you safe, because that's the other thing about Barrage, right? It's usually press Q to respawn on on Pharah, right? Because you almost always throw out the Barrage, maybe get a double kill if you're really lucky, and then die because you're just there stationary. But every single time, it seems like Lewis was always able to survive, had a lot of resources allocated to him to make sure that he was able to get out that damage and get away from the damage himself as well after.
And to, follow up on that too, with Lewis gaining so much on that Pharah, it almost seemed that Guinea Pigs, they acknowledged that the Pharah was finding the positions, was finding the kills, but they still wanted to keep the fight on the ground. They were not wanting to acknowledge and draw too much attention to it because they honestly felt confident, I think, that they could still dominate on that main ground with those first initial picks and then transition to focusing on the Pharah versus the other way around.
So we are going to see perhaps some version of a dive here, and this is still going into this style of composition that Free Guinea Pig is liking, where they really kind of play off of Sweet and Victor, allow him to set the pace, create momentum, create even more space, especially for Sansky to have some impact on the Ana himself. They're even utilizing Sika on the Sombra, and I talked about that before, and it's really going to come down to map control, spacing, things of that nature. It's going to become increasingly more important here, especially with this composition.
And they do have vision now onto Sika in the back, needing to be careful, having that 6v5 now push into this choke point until Sika can reconvene, as they do get a great bionic grenade up front, able to get an early pick here onto Axel. J-Dog getting the kill, LWS now getting the DMAC and the follow-up onto NBZ, as they're going to look to try and retreat and maybe find a corner to try and re-engage here, but so much damage has already been done.
Tetrix has just opened things up for his team. We see them able to execute off of big swings, but Tetrix is the one creating almost every single one of those swings. That bionic grenade really allowed them to just kind of jump in, really push off a lot of what Sansky was trying to do. And you can even see him switching to Mercy because he's like, you know what? I can't keep up.
This is very true, and now the engage is going to begin once again, trying to contest before they reach the next point, as the Dragon Blade is going to come out by Lewis, gaining back, wanting to follow up onto NBZ, getting the DMAC with now Nostalgia getting the kill. 3 members down, gonna go for Guinea Pigs, as Unprofessional now looks to reach this next checkpoint with ease. A beautiful sleep dart once again, as we've seen. You are correct. Tetrix just lining it up and finding those shots and preventing this team from sustaining in a fight.
Lewis still going forward, really kind of playing with his food, just toying with them. I mean, NBZ trying to get away on this D.Va. You would expect them to be able to kind of push the Genji off, as he is one of the more frail heroes in terms of his own defenses and his own hero pool, but he's able to just go forward and get ever closer to another blade, something that really wreaked havoc on them to get that first point, and they still have tons in the time there.
And here comes another bionic grenade we saw onto the Pharah. Mercy and Lucio in the back. Another re-engage here. Not going to have it for this match, but it will be the Graviton being used. Shatter to follow it up, combining the back-to-back tank ultimates to see if they can lock them down, with some great pressure still to go with 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Rally now coming out by Axel to see if they can try and generate the opportunity to stay in this fight, with the sound barrier coming out by Unprofessional, trying to stay alive, but they're getting tucked in the corner. The dominance now coming out by Guinea Pigs as they finally maintain this payload and prevent it from moving.
So we're going to see them able to kind of regain control. Now we'll see if they can actually hold on to it here. They're postured up pretty aggressively, playing off this payload. You would often see a lot of teams playing behind the corner because it's a little bit of a safety net for your supports. It gives them a little bit better of a point of aggression, where it's forced high ground to be able to go back into the backline.
And Lewis again now going to use that Dragon Blade high overhead with the nano boost, going to claim one, wanting a follow-up, but Sika using the Rocket Barrage high overhead to at least get rid of one support. J-Dog going down. The Earth Shatter, though, down the hallway, able to at least knock down 2. The follow-up onto NBZ after the DMAC, as they're looking to gain this momentum once again to reach this next checkpoint, as Guinea Pigs looks to flee and try and recover.
And we'll see that Graviton Surge ready for Unprofessional once again, and LWS with this Zarya here, he's gonna definitely try to make good use of that as he puts himself into a better position just to try to see if he can catch them off guard. There's still NBZ on the D.Va to maybe be able to do something with this, but he already self-destruct, so that's a complete opening.
And actually going to be able to claim one Graviton in return, though. Oh my goodness, they just turned it around immediately. They wanted to follow up on that self-destruct. It claimed one, but the Graviton locking that team down just before the engage completely prevented them from doing anything in that fight.
Yeah, that was actually just really good. That was just really fortunate for LWS as well, because, you know, he was wanting to throw that out. He saw the self-destruct and he's like, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity. Everybody's bunched up and there's no way that I could lose this right now, so just go for it.
And they were able to tuck around the corner to prevent the explosive damage again, only claiming one. The Earth Shatter is going to come out, not going to gain anything out of it though. Shield will be up. Lewis again with the Dragon Blade in the back now. Nano Boost going to come out. No, correction, it will be the Sound Barrier being used by Cameron in the back, able to give some protective shielding, trying to keep Guinea Pigs in this fight, and they're now starting to again stop the momentum on this payload. Able to use that defensive support ultimate by Cameron to sustain through the incoming damage, get the late picks, and they're wanting now to reset and look for another opportunity to really hold for another 3.5 minutes.
We'll see NBZ backing up. You know, he already made that swap off of the Diva onto the Zarya, so they want to go kind of just head-on combat them with that Ryan Zarya matchup, see if they can go toe-to-toe, win that tank fight, and give their team something to work with.
Coalescence and Rally going to be used now on the defensive side by Guinea Pigs. They have the ultimate usage right now, and they are going to also have Tetrix with a Nano Boost along with the Sound Barrier. Both supports on each team being used. 3 minutes still to go. Charge in the back, able to get Nostalgia down, as they will have a quick return here, taking out NBZ. Still continuing to hold on the point. Graviton in the back, pulling Sweden Victor into that, as they do get the follow-up Bionic Grenade to shut it down, with Sika now turning onto the Doomfist. A lot of harass. Beautiful follow-up onto Lewis and Tetrix, doing a wonderful job with that fist and just crushing their team to hopefully push them back as LWS and Nostalgia wait for the regroup.
I mean, driven by that Pharah, it seemed like they were going to be able to pull that one out of the bag, but it wasn't the case. Instead, it was the other side. Free Guinea Pig able to hold out somehow, some way. Graviton ready now for NBZ. He's been holding on to this for quite some time, and now he's in a position to actually make use of it.
Dragon Blade going to be used in the back, though, as they do get the pull. Gonna lock him down. Meteor Strike to follow up, claiming as they do get the follow-up onto LWS. Graviton not going to be useful, along with the Dragon Blade, as they continue to force them back. Still, though, a lot of kills coming out for the team of Unprofessional, and looking to now turn it back around, regardless of them completely shutting down Lewis's Dragon Blade.
This is so in favor of Free Guinea Pig. They have the option to just recontest very quickly, and they just took out so much time from the time bank. They have an option here to get into the back line, get the Earth Shatter down.
Does manage to use it through the payload, getting two, following up onto LWS. Hopefully going to get the continued pressure right now. A Fire Strike taking out Tetrix, who has switched on to the Mercy. Not going to stay on the Ana, trying to change that composition now to see if they might have the opportunity to continue pushing forward with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go.
Oh, nice little reflect there, give himself some ult charge, but nonetheless, it's really going to come down to these ults. You know, Unprofessional needs to make use of this barrage, get right in there into the back line if they can, and really put some pressure down onto the tanks with the barrage to allow an opening for Lewis to come through and follow up.
Graviton now going to be used with the Rocket Barrage overhead with the shield to make sure that they do not pick off J-Dog. The synergy with that push was beautiful on the side of Unprofessional, as now the respawn advantage is hopefully going to give Guinea Pigs the opportunity to contest with this few meters remaining with 55 seconds.
Oh, Genji Blade, a lot of options here. You have your support ults there coming in as well, both time. Oh, Earth Shatter coming in big.
And the Sound Barrier giving them a buffer to continue pushing forward, seeing if they can get a pin. It will taking out Sika on the Doofus, so they will not have the mobility and that harass in the back line. Tetrix gonna force out that Valkyrie, which is crucial overhead to give the extra damage. Earth Shatter gonna be used though, coming out to see if they can turn it around by Victor in the back. Sweden now starting to get some pressure, forcing them away. Sika back online, starting to get the kill onto Lewis to retaliate, as it's gonna be 20 seconds remaining as Guinea Pigs now look to force them away.
Oh, this Swedish team, Free Guinea Pig, able to throw them off completely. And now you have to wonder if there's going to even be an opportunity to recontest here. Unprofessional, they have 9 seconds to get in there. LDO is going to come back with that Hammond. Can they get on the point? That's the question. They have the Doomfist, and maybe Nostalgia can make it.
Oh, and they are able to do it. Able to get the Lucio in the back. Meteor Strike is going to be used, though, onto the Graviton. Tetrix, they are looking to clean them off this point, as they still want to try and keep it. LWS now on that Wrecking Ball, just gonna go swirl around the payload, trying to buy some time, getting back as quickly as possible, as J-Dog with the Rocket Barrage overhead wants to keep it going, but isn't gonna happen. That will be Free Guinea Pigs claiming round 2 on Rialto.
Wow, I mean, that's crazy to see some of the fights that they were able to win out where, you know, they were just back and forth, and it wound up becoming, in some cases, even like 2v2s, 3v3s, things of that nature, where it just was Free Guinea Pig taking advantage of the proximity of their spawn, right? So being able to, recontest very quickly, regain their composure, and then come back out, swinging away, and that's exactly what we saw.
And that Earth Shatter by NBZ, clutch. I mean, just unbelievable for that play of the game. And yes, as you said, just guinea pigs right at the end of it. And that respawn advantage was honestly what truly helped them. They got that early pick onto Doomfist. They got rid of the harass. They got rid of, that mobility that they needed to lock down to follow up onto those characters. Came in a little bit later, retaliated against Lewis on that Genji, and just gave them so much opportunity to continue holding and pressuring them back. You saw Unprofessional, though, trying to respond to it, switching up their comp, going to the Mercy, seeing if it could benefit them. And honestly, it was just extremely difficult for them to try and capitalize at the tail end of that overall fight right at the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, free guinea pig, you can see again just the impact that they have when they run that Hammond, when they're running things that lend them control, just kind of inherently through the characters that they're choosing. Because Unprofessional really struggles to start dealing with that. Tetrix is doing a lot in the back line, but the problem is that if you're constantly being, constantly having a Hammond jammed down your throat every single time you go into a fight, you're being pressured out, and it's tough for your tanks to actually make space for you. Then you're not going to be able to do too much other than land those nutty biotic grenades that land those nutty sleeps. If your team isn't able to execute, you're going to have problems, you're going to struggle, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Unprofessional. And it's just that one, just tiny little adjustments that could be made, from the team as a whole, as a collective unit, to be able to come together and really kind of find some cohesiveness, some synergy between themselves to be able to win these matches up. Because if you look at it, I mean, these matches have been incredibly close. I mean, 1-2, a lot of these matchups that we saw on Lijiang Tower were incredibly close as well, back and forth affairs. And then here on Rialto, it could have gone, either way had it not been for free guinea pig, just really seeming like they, were controlling very much in a lot of these fights, especially towards the latter half on their defense.
And again, we are going to get some further analysis as well coming up from our desk to go a little bit deeper into, what you've already addressed here by these teams. So again, we'll throw that right over to our analysts now so they can give a further description of how this match went.
Great googly moogly. Wow. Those are some, wow. That's pretty much all I had to say about that. Actually, we have plenty more to say about that.
Segment. No,
Yeah,
we're done.
thank you very much.
Just throw it back to Rich.
All right. So, beatdown, plausible. Wow. I'm kind of speechless here. It's kind of just really kind of cool match here. But let's take it back. Let's take it back to Lijiang. And I think, we were talking about the game here, and one word or one phrase that kept coming up over and over again was fat grav. Plausible. Talk about that.
Yeah, there were no gravitons eaten on control center, that is for sure. Every grav landed on several people, but most of them not actually able to find a whole lot. A lot of them got countered. We saw Maywall counters. We saw just lack of follow-up coming out. But regardless of that, the charge time from both these Zarya players was insane.
Yeah.
Sika gets his first graviton in the first fight, right? Like, the fight for the control point, it absolutely crazy. And Lewis ended up getting like 4 throughout that stage. Just insane.
Yeah, I think it was like 40, 45 seconds. All of a sudden, hey, here's a grab. Here's another one. Oh, yep, here we go. Like throwing them out like candy. Beatdown. Anything sort of graviton extravaganza?
I think it's just proving what we've always already known about Lewis since the last time we saw him professional play. The man is just a great player. He's a great DPS player, but like Paul Spool's saying behind the scenes, whatever character you put him on, he will charge that ult blindingly fast.
Yeah. Whether it was Genji or Pharah or Zarya, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Give him a hero, he gets like a 40-second ult charge.
Yeah, I was like, I thought we just heard Justice Reigns from above, and here comes another one. Oh, here comes another one.
Every fight, literally every fight on Rialto, he had an ult.
All right, let's talk about guinea pigs for a little bit here. Beatdown, they had some really interesting comps throughout these first 2 games here.
Yeah, they did, and I think my favorite part about it was the May that I saw them run. Yeah, it was really good.
That was Unprofessional.
Oh no, I'm mistaken. That was Unprofessional. I like the ultimate economy out of guinea pigs. They won. There was even a fight on Garden, I believe, where Unprofessional had 6 ultimates, guinea pigs had 4, and Unprofessional used them all, but guinea pigs won that fight with literally only 2 ults.
Yeah. Guinea pigs. We saw them. They would kind of stick to one comp more or less for much of the games here. Any thoughts you want to talk about there?
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But to their credit, when it did break on their defense on Rialto, right? They were playing that weird comp. I don't even know what to call it. We don't have a phrase to coin it, right? Like we
working
have
on
like
it.
dive or 3-3 or something like that. It was like Hammond, Brigida, Diva, Moira, Lucio, and what's the last one? I don't remember. But whatever it was, Ana, you're right. It was just really strange coming out because on paper I was looking at it and it didn't make any sense, and on defense it didn't work, right? But to their credit, after the first 2 or 3 losses, they switched it. They were like, well, this doesn't work anymore. We ran it for like 2 stages and half a map, but we're done now. Let's switch over to something we know is going to work. And they held on Rialto because of it.
Speaking of adapting and changing your lineup, Plausible, Unprofessional seem a bit hesitant or resistant to make any changes to their comp.
Yeah, I think that comes just sort of from the lack of like historical team play from these guys, right? Like they don't know each other's hero pools that well, right? They don't know how they work in specific compositions that well. I mean, obviously Lewis can play whatever he wants and be a god on it, right? But you need the rest of the team to be like working around that properly. Everybody needs to be on the same page when you switch over to different compositions, and I think that's where that's coming from.
So one hero I want to highlight is Ana. We have saw some really great Ana play. Ana's kind of one of those unsung heroes that it doesn't show up in the kill feed very much, but she does a lot of work. Like Beatdown, you want to talk about maybe Sansky or Tetrix here?
Well, I want to specify Tetrix just a little bit. Honestly, there was very few times I would see that his enemy team was not purple. Like, so many of the biotic grenades landed, so much healing denied, and many teamfights won because of it. Great.
Yeah, so all right, we didn't get a chance to do it before, but let's kind of talk about it real quick here. After our first half here, Plausible, who do you think is going to walk away the winner in this one?
I mean, unless Unprofessional can pull something out here, I'm going to say Guinea Pigs. They've shown better teamwork, better coordination, better ult economy. I'm not gonna say better hero pools because we were told Axel was a flex and he played Brigida almost 100% of the time we've seen him. I'd like to see him actually flex here.
He's gonna pull it out. It's still halftime, but I also disagree. I think Unprofessional is gonna clutch this out off the back of Lewis. The man is utterly unbelievable, and all I need to see from them throughout the next few maps is they just need to adapt faster and work on the comms a little bit. Just get that focus fire in check. But I believe Unprofessional can take this out. You're wrong, Possible.
You just like to disagree with me.
Hey, you're right.
Well, Axel, you can stay on Brigitte all you want. She's one of my favorite heroes, and I love watching her play, even if she is not the most viable for the comps. Go ahead and stick with her. All right, looks like our players are getting ready here, and Rich Rad, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Not a problem. Thank you so very much again for that breakdown. And, as we look to go into this, since we are still allowing the teams to, kind of finalize here, how do you think this next match is going to go for Assault? Do you think they're going to choose to go on to Horizon, Temple of Anubis? What are your thoughts, Horks?
I mean, it's kind of tough to call because, I mean, if you're Unprofessional right now, you want to get away from as much chaos as you possibly can. So you certainly want to stay away from Anubis. That would be a definite. You have probably between Horizon and Volskaya would be the two that I would be looking at. We already jump into the map, and it is going to be Horizon Lunar Colony, and that possibly lends to the possibility of actually running goats, especially for first point, might give them some momentum that they might need actually moving forward. So I think this is a smart pick from them. I think this does, get them away a little bit, at least from the imposing threat of having to deal with Sweden Victor on the Hammond as much and having to deal with, a lot of the problems that they've faced so far on their other maps. The only thing that I think is really going to be a struggle is still trying to deal with Sika, primarily on that Sombra. Sombra can just still be just as effective, if not more effective than the other maps that we've seen him on. on this one in particular as well. So we'll have to see. Are they going to throw us for a loop, or are they going to play goats? Are they going to be able to deal with Sika on the Sombra should it come out as well? And what kind of a composition are we going to see out of Free Guinea Pigs where, previously in the past, it's all been about control, or are they going to go to something more, standard, something more structured, something that we've seen a lot before, like the Rein Zarya setup of past?
And we are going to see LWS now on Unprofessional on the defensive side using that Wrecking Ball, trying to see if maybe they can cause some disruption here on this defensive point. 30 seconds until they come out. And we also actually see now Axel going on this Tracer. Interesting to see how this play is going to be, and actually going to look to switch right now. They're not for sure which they're going to do, but now seeing the Widowmaker, and I wouldn't be surprised seeing the Widowmaker. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, having the Widowmaker come out?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be surprised by it. And I certainly think that, our analyst desk would be pretty happy to see Axel on something other than Brig, especially because, Widowmaker is going to, really be a huge boon if they can land the picks. But it does seem like the Brig is coming out. Despite all of that, they are going to be running goats here. So Free Guinea Pig just taking advantage of this, the dynamic of this map and trying to pull out a goats of their own, possibly something that Unprofessional really would have liked to have. But look at the way that they engage this.
And they're going to get that Bionic Grenade again, lightning fast on this team, seeing if they can get the follow-up here. Does get the DMAC. Tetrix getting NBZ out as they're now looking to follow up. Another great pressure on the back line by Lewis with the Doomfist as they're looking to try and reposition here. Bionic Grenade again, continuing to see the land after another time onto Victor. Gonna go down. LWS getting the kill as they're looking to once again prevent them from getting this point. One member remaining, almost able to gain the tick though. They had a lot of opportunity to potentially get it and just coming up short here.
I mean, that was so close to getting that tick. Somehow Unprofessional was able to get onto the point and contest it before they gave too much away there. But still, that GOATS comp could be huge for Guinea Pig. But this is the thing. They're making swaps, roughly they're able to, get the ults up. So, I mean, despite the fact that they could have had a lot more lethality in their composition, they're completely changing things up and going again with that setup of the Hammond from Sweden Victor.
And they're now going to try and see if they can push through, looking to retreat a little bit. Lewis had the engage in the back, generating that ultimate. They now have almost all 6 ultimates here. Now going to have the self-destruct coming in the back line, seeing if they can claim a pick. Not going to happen. Free Guinea Pigs now a little bit discombobulated right now. They're being thrown around and seeing if they can just fend for themselves in their own positions, forcing out the Transcendence at least. Still seeing if they can scrap this out right now, as already 2 members have gone down here for Free Guinea Pigs, with the benefit now for Unprofessional as they continue to push them back.
Oh, a hack going out onto Sweden Victor too. It pulls the Hammond out of his ball. They find the kill. J-Dog coming up big on this Sombra, and it was actually something that I was expecting to see Sika, having the Sombra, but we haven't seen that much from him. And again, changes coming to the table from Free Guinea Pig, who have just been struggling to capture point A here. And Unprofessional, it seems like their pickup rights in their colony really worked out in their favor as the EMP is getting ready to come out here.
And it is going to land on 3 of them with a Bionic Grenade, landing on 2, seeing if they can follow quickly onto Sika outside in that moon section with 1 minute and 40 seconds still remaining. Lewis getting the pick onto Axel, getting that support out of the way immediately is going to be critical for them. Cameron having the sound barrier, but isn't going to use it, wanting to fall back. They're cleaning up right now on the side of Unprofessional, and Free Guinea Pigs, they're going to really have to do something. I mean, they have been altering their composition, but they've been losing so much ult charge from this consistent rotation.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a problem that they've created for themselves by making so many swaps. They don't have the lethality that they need to break into this composition. That's just all about control, all about creating chaos. And it's weird that they're having this trouble when they've been utilizing this setup and this execution style, this strategy throughout this entire series.
And now we're going to see the self-destruct coming in huge in the back, getting, again, that Mercy player out of it. Sansky is not going to be able for this fight with the sound barrier coming out. In addition, Cameron keeping that team alive with Rally. In addition, so many ultimates being unleashed by Guinea Pigs, trying to at least desperately get onto this point with 45 seconds to go. Still holding strong. Meteor Strike on the high ground, not going to be able to gain the kill that they wanted. Minefield from both teams now needing to be careful to sidestep through all of it as the EMP finally does come out by J-Dog, locking them down, having the opportunity. Here comes the follow-up, as it will be Unprofessional, completely pushing them away with an entire team kill and 25 seconds remaining.
I mean, Floshy got away with like nothingness. I mean, you can see even the speck of health that he has. He had 5 HP before his shield wound up going back up, but that was exactly what Free Guinea Pig needed there. They needed to be able to solidify those kills, and now with 8 seconds remaining and no ults to show for anything, this is going to be a very tough prospect for them.
Self-destruct coming into the back, trying to, again, zone them away from this point. They do not want them to get into the overtime, but they still manage to get there. Having both the Doomfist and the Moira. Meteor Strike coming out high overhead, seeing if they can get a pick potentially, but isn't going to be able to get one. Only at least getting some damage here onto Nostalgia, but has the nano boost. Able to generate enough healing to survive on this point as the overtime is starting to tick away. Free Guinea Pigs in a difficult position right now with LWS getting the follow-up. NBZ, though, trying to retaliate with the assistance of NBZ on that Tracer. Still looking to push them away. Overtime ticking away. They're starting to get it, though. One member still remaining. They need to stay on it. The self-destruct now coming in the back line as they finally are able to stop them for round 1, but at least getting a second tick.
Unprofessional, huge on defense. What a turnaround, too, from the other rounds where, this has been back and forth, but it seems like Free Guinea Pig just, they were like kind of just in the driver's seat. They were able to kind of control the match throughout this set so far, but now things look very much out of hand for them, as they were just struggling to find a composition that they felt confident with. Right out of the gate, we saw them go with goats, and then for some reason, they felt like that just wasn't going to work. They just weren't going to be able to pull that off. The separation that was created by the Doomfist, the issues that were caused by the Hammond just jumping in and diving onto their backline. Maybe they felt a little bit too susceptible there, but despite that, they still had Moira, right? They still had ult charge coming up. That Goats comp might have been able to unlock that first capture point for them, and they might have been in a much better position at this stage of the map, provided that they had just stuck with something. It's just losing all of that ult charge every single time you go in for a fight. That's just devastating.
And even further, just to try and, again, we know that Unprofessional is at a point right now that they have to win back-to-back games. They know that they do not have the opportunity to lose anymore. They have to keep this going, and they have a long road ahead of them. It is a tall order for them to turn this around, but they are going to do everything possible. And again, they've responded, starting to, again, use the synergy with Tetrix. They know that they've had some great on a play. Lewis as well, as they've consistently had. They're now starting to try and synergize even more, especially with the Wrecking Ball, who is consistently harassing in the back. And they're using almost a slight, note or two coming out by Free Guinea Pigs, as they had that Wrecking Ball do so much harass and using it now themselves, with LWS doing a great job on it.
So this is still winnable for Free Guinea Pig. I mean, this is well within the realm of possibility. We've seen them, look good on defense before, but to hold out for 4 minutes and, they've got to make sure that they disallow just the 2 ticks that they were able to create for themselves as well. It's going to be a tough task, but I think Free Guinea Pig could potentially be up to it.
And they have that Orisa on the high ground, using that shield to prevent some incoming damage here as they're waiting to see where this position is going to move for Unprofessional, going on to that right side from the attacking position up the stairwell to try and flank behind NBZ, but the pile drive is going to come in, able to start the disruption, along with Lewis getting an early pick here onto Axel, and they're just going to move swiftly to take out that support. Sika getting the DMAC, but Lewis getting a double, and once again, we look to see them shine, able to get a double kill already out the doors, looking to get this first tick, and it's going to have to be Guinea Pigs needing to get on this point very soon, and finally does. It will be Victor in the back on that Wrecking Ball, getting down very quickly, and there it is. What a swift take on Horizon Lunar Colony.
Oh man, I mean, their execution on the dive, they just jumped right in, and it didn't seem like they knew what to do at all. I mean, Orisa was just stuck up top, no rotations. We had so many targets that were all low, so many low health targets that were vulnerable, that just weren't taken care of. And that was huge from them. Flashy, like, you can just see how safe he looked up here throughout this. And, the rotations that we saw from Unprofessional, especially defensively, were such a welcoming change, I think, for them as a team in this matchup. And you can see Flashy, at least we can see Flashy, rather, questioning that Potog, but nonetheless, I think their team as a whole deserving of that one, because they were able to so quickly adapt and make a huge pivot in this matchup. Now we'll have to see if they can turn things completely back around for that full reverse sweep.
And again, they're already on their way. They took the few minutes, started to, rethink what they were doing, how they were playing. And now we're going to look to go into the next match, which is going to be hybrid. And we're going to, what do you think they're going to go into now? Again, you're going to see Guinea Pigs most likely want to favor a map that is beneficial to them with the composition that they're rolling. Do you think it will be? I was thinking potentially Eichenwald, maybe even Kings Row. I don't want to say Hollywood. I don't think that's going to benefit them as much. What do you think your opinions are on that?
Well, it's interesting because Unprofessional before this, I would have gone with those two maps for sure. Certainly, I would say King's Row. I mean, was probably the go-to, but with Free Guinea Pig, this last matchup completely turned everything on its head, right? Because Unprofessional took what Free Guinea Pig was doing, and they're just doing it to them. I mean, Free Guinea Pig is probably going to want to go to a map that they can kind of do some of the same things, take advantage of the Hammond, take advantage of a map with verticality. So King's Row, I think, is actually off the table. So you're looking at Eichenwald, especially for point B, and you're looking at maps like Hollywood would be one. I would imagine probably one of those two. I would personally lean towards Eichenwald personally, but I could imagine one of those being the one that they wind up taking. But still, this is a question of whether or not Unprofessional is going to be able to continue this pressure and continue this momentum they've created for themselves in this matchup, in this series, where they've been able to take what, again, Free Guinea Pig is doing and just do it a little bit better.
And with it, again, already now starting to get this third round Unprofessional claiming it, you're going to see Guinea Pigs now being like, all right, we're not in the driver's seat anymore. We got these two. We thought we were sitting pretty, and now Unprofessional is going to come in very strong, and they have that boost of morale, and that can cause such a huge push in a team when you know that you're still in this. Of course, the stakes are high right now. They need to get this win from both teams. Either team, they are at a point of where if they do not claim this victory, they are not going to be in any possible opportunity of moving forward. With now 40 seconds beginning, we're going to see if Unprofessional can really do it with this composition. Again, looking like they're going to have that wrecking ball here on the, looks like the defense.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not even just that they it's not even just that they won't be in the driver's seat. I mean, if this kind of play continues with Unprofessional just kicking it up a notch and finally kind of playing up to their own standards here, it's not just going to be that Free Guinea Pig is not in the driver's seat. They're going to be in the trunk. They're going to be locked in. They're going to be worried because that's how I'd feel. I mean, with how that last map just looked, every one of these maps has so far been very close. It's just been kind of barely squeaked out on the side of Free Guinea Pigs, but that was the first real dominant showing from either of these teams. And it wasn't just that it was dominant, it was dominant utilizing exactly what Free Guinea Pigs has been successful with. So this could be a very big turning point in the map, especially if we continue to see the same kind of looks from Unprofessional, utilizing some of that really, that large amount of chaos, utilizing the Hammond, utilizing Tetrix on the Ana, because now the big thing, I think, honestly, is the fact that with all this chaos happening, with Lewis and LWS really kind of stepping up, it creates space. Tetrix now has room to work with. Tetrix can start doing some of the things he's been doing more consistently because he doesn't have to worry about everybody breathing down his neck all the time. So I think that's a big boon in their favor going forward, especially defensively here on Hollywood, where he can kind of just sit up top, make sure he uses this high ground to his advantage as well, and nobody's really going to be able to touch him, especially with this GOAT style.
And we'll see how rattled they are from that last game by Free Guinea Pig as they're going to come out here again with that 3-3 composition, seeing if they can try and find the opportunity. It is going to be Lewis looking to do a lot of harass in the back line. Starting to turn the corner here, they do witness that they have Tetrix on that extremely high ground position, wanting to gain the opportunity, as now they're moving to the high ground. They get up there very quickly. Discord Orb coming out onto Victor right away. Sweden needing to be careful, as it will be another bionic grenade landing in the back, and there we go once again, gaining the space. LWS getting the pile driver onto Cameron, as J-Dog now follows up not only with the DMAC, but the kill onto Sweden Victor.
Absolutely devastating, that bionic grenade. Absolutely devastating. They could still lose lives here. This Brigitte is just gonna, cause a lot of mayhem on the point. We can definitely see them retake as well, as we see Cameron just kind of pulling everybody in from spawn. So they could just jump in here should they be able to find some composure. Oh, and that's a big kill onto the Baby Divas. They could actually really retake here.
And they're starting to claim it. You do see J-Dog needing to be careful. Most likely going to try and find the opportunity to keep it contested. Hopefully seeing if they can get back here quickly. Also on the high ground, Luke's looking to contest with that Doomfist. Coalescence going to come out as LWS does manage to get back onto the point. Transcendence going to be forced once again, just trying to buy some time here. They do not want to give this up. Free Guinea Pig now being so aggressive with the EMP going to come out by J-Dog in the back. The bionic grenade landing again, as now they're back. Unprofessional coming in with professionalism as they're looking to turn this back around and prevent Free Guinea Pig from claiming that point.
I mean, this is the kind of type of coordination that we were really looking forward to, going into this matchup with Unprofessional. this is the kind of thing that we didn't see much of in the first 2 maps, and now it's really clicking. You see J-Dog setting up Nostalgia with that 1-2 punch, EMPing for the big explosion of the Diva Bomb, the self-destruct claiming the life of a very integral member of this GOAT's composition, that Reinhardt.
And now we're going to see some interesting movement. They're going to try and dash through with the movement speed by Lucio to get into the backline position. Meteor Strike now is going to be used, trying to lock them down in the backline, not wanting to get this opportunity in these tight corridors, and it's spelling disaster here for Free Guinea Pig. It will be the Bionic Grenade landing onto that Diva, getting the D-Mech onto NBZ, needing to be careful. Sika also going down on the Pharah as they're looking to be forced back once again and separated as a team.
Yeah, and there's no way that they can get together once again. They're just kind of stuck behind because all those mines from LWS went in. Now they're just looking to get up onto that second level. Maybe the Reinhardt can get there.
And the Earth Shatter comes out a little bit, prematurely used, I feel, only onto one member, but there comes the follow-up charge, able to actually gain a lot of value out of that. All alone in the back of here, as well as now look prevent them from getting any further. LWS, though, getting back quickly, immediately taken down, though. Axel doing a great job, as that was one of the most interesting turnarounds there, with literally almost nobody on the point.
And Sika is asleep, but they just can't do anything really about it. I mean, what do you do? As soon as you go up there, you just get completely exploded with, control, a ton of stuns. Axel is going to be there. Sweden's going to be knocking you around with the hammer as well. They're trying to engage here. They have created space. Tetric's going to look for the sleep dart, but going to miss it there.
And now going to see if they can get the self-destruct to land in the back line, just tucking behind it. The Transcendence is going to be forced now by Unprofessional, trying to keep them alive with LWS harassing in the back on that Wrecking Ball once again, seeing if they can manage to get some picks in the back with Lewis getting a D-Mech. That's going to be great, shutting down one of the tanks here on Free Guinea Pigs as they look to continue falling back and wait for that ultimate, or the mech, to come back online.
And we see them pulling back, looking to try to regain their composure a little bit, and they've done just that. 2:40 on the clock remains here, and once again, Lewis going to be nano boosted up.
And the minefield is going to come out on the payload, halting that movement, forcing them back. It will be a lot of damage coming in here onto Overhead. Does get the kill onto Sika with that minefield, as they're still going to maintain this payload. 2 minutes and 25 seconds. And Free Guinea Pigs, they had that great turnaround at the end on this check, or on the capture, but now in a difficult spot through this tight choke point.
All right, another opportunity here. Sweden Victor doesn't have... Oh, the EMP comes out!
And they are going to lock them down. Here comes the sound barrier, though, just in time on the side of Free Guinea Pigs, as they're going to be able to try and withstand the incoming damage after the EMP has been used. Lewis getting low, does go down. It will also be J-Dog now trying to be very careful. Nostalgia needing to be extremely careful of where that positioning is, as LWS looks to harass and unfortunately goes down. The momentum is now starting to come in favor of Free Guinea Pigs, with 3 ultimates available against this one, potentially 2 ultimates going to be generated by Unprofessional.
So Free Guinea Pig finally claiming themselves a fight win there. They've really struggled, I think, ever since that big pivot where we see Unprofessional playing a completely different ball game, and Tetric's really reaping the benefits of that, I would have to say. But LWS looking to recontest here. You can see him just in the back. They see him, but they can't really do anything about it. And as he's just going to dive onto the point, they've already found kills elsewhere.
And they forced out the Transcendence, but the damage is being extremely high right now. J-Dog now switching onto the Widowmaker, trying to see if they can contest against it now with that alteration, and Comp does get the D-Mech, the follow-up onto it by the Zenyatta from Unprofessional, as now the harass is going to continue. LWS on the front, but still needs to be careful.
And disengaging freely, Tetrix will be able to heal him back up, and with that heal, we're going to be seeing Flashy and Tetrix get a little bit closer to their support ults. That could be, I mean, real huge going forward, as J-Dog on this Widow is looking once again to find those opening picks, but it's Lewis finding the first one to start the fight off.
And getting a follow-up here onto Sansky for the Mercy going down. That's going to waste a lot of time. They don't have it right now. 35 seconds to go. They are going to have to try and force a fight right now, not having it, and hopefully Sansky is going to get back in time. They're waiting for it. They have enough time. They're going to have potentially 5 ultimates going into this, with Sika not going to have that Dragon Blade, I don't believe.
And Lewis up top, he can just dive right in and needs to get close to his ult so he can get out of there as well. Now they have the self-destruct going up, but that's already 2 kills.
Nostalgia getting both the support and NBZ on the Diva before the remake, because both self-destructs were used, able to survive through it. Free Guinea Pigs now going to start being pushed back again, only having 2 seconds, nobody home. Actually, it will be Cameron able to switch it into overtime. The Lucio all alone with the movement speed, trying to dodge the incoming damage. They need to get him off this point so that they can turn it back. Overtime shredding away, nobody there, and that's going to be round 1 completed on Hollywood.
So it does continue. Unprofessional just I mean, they are making sure that they are not down and out. They want a chance at making it into the playoffs. They don't want to hit that cutoff at all. Obviously, a lot is on the table here, and they are answering the call in a big way. They went down 2-0 in the set. They turned things around on that last map on Horizon Lunar Colony, and despite Free Guinea Pig's best efforts, it has completely been the Unprofessional show ever since we saw that map change over to Horizon Lunar Colony. And really the compositional choice that we see them shifting to and making some adaptations where they're just playing basically what we've seen is a big swap, right? I mean, we've seen essentially Free Guinea Pigs going from playing into forcing chaos and trying to deal with isolation and create a lot of mistakes that are happening from Unprofessional. And Unprofessional just unable to find any space for their backline and everything. They were looking to try to control the map in a more standard way. Now it's completely flipped, right? We see chaos on the side of Unprofessional and Free Guinea Pigs trying to look for control, trying to play things like Goat's composition. They're trying to play things like multiple tanks or play Ryan Zarya, and it's just not working out. And you have to wonder why they don't want to just go back to what they know and maybe just take it head on and just play chaos versus chaos, just total mayhem, just brawls back and forth.
And that's a very good point. Again, it's surprising to not see it because it worked so well early. They've wanted to just readjust their entire comp to maybe try to cater to what they play. Like, they know maybe that they've seen this type of comp that they're using on the defense or on the attack against this type of chaos that Unprofessional is throwing, and they're wanting to maybe use it because it works against them. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think it would be honestly better in their favor for them to use that same type of chaos and try and get into that back line with the Wrecking Ball and look to contest it, with now the doors finally opening.
And Sweden Victor, I mean, they're going to be playing with the Orisa Diva, something that did not work for them at all defensively on Horizon Lunar Colony. We'll have to see if maybe they'll have a different effect here, as a different approach, a different take from Unprofessional. They're looking healthy to just go for this dive.
LWS now almost getting the pile drive, but a beautiful bionic grenade landing onto 5 members of Free Guinea Pig. This Tetrix on a play is unbelievable, allowing Unprofessionals to get onto this point, but now they're starting to turn it around. Free Guinea Pigs starting to exploit after they already got that great engage. 2 ticks already, hoping to get the third, but they might be able to capitalize on this. Sika in the back on the McCree, trying to get some damage with the great turnaround here by Guinea Pigs.
I mean, it's been a struggle dealing with this Orisa. I think there are definitely some things that they need to work on, staying behind the shield rather than in front, so they're not getting bionic grenaded left and right. But on top of that, keeping their supports live was huge. I mean, pivotal in that fight to allow for Axel to come through on the Mercy. And we talked about him being a flex player. How about flexing the Mercy?
Right? I totally agree with you, and now they're going to see if they can try and reposition here on that right side from the attacking position once again. Unprofessional now going to jump up using LWS on the Winston. Another grenade! They turned the shield and got it again. Lewis going to follow up not only with the dash, but a reset with the DMAC onto MBZ, and that's going to be Unprofessional with an entire team kill again, with the door opening by Tetrix to flood them into that household.
The good news here is that even if Free Guinea Pig wind up, not being able to take this one, and you got to swap off the Orisa, right? So they do indeed do that as well. If they do wind up losing this map, it goes over to Control next, if I'm not mistaken, as the closer. So, they do have that opportunity to go back to what really made them, very strong to begin with. And we see them already going over to the Doomfist, and I think that's a good play for them to at least begin to get back to where they were their strongest.
And now they have J-Dog on the Widowmaker in the back. It did help them a lot on the other time prior as they switched from defense, getting the DMAC and the follow-up onto MBZ, giving them that opportunity, having the numbers advantage. But Sika, as you said, switching onto that Doomfist is going to give them some opportunity. Axel getting the res onto NBZ, getting them back online with Lewis getting a kill, but being taken down as well. Self-destruct in the back, trying to see if they can land anything. Isn't going to happen. Another sleep dart here going to come out, though, in return by Sansky, allowing LWS to be taken down. Nano boost as well, and they've finally been able to halt this momentum and still manage to have 2 support ultimates and the self-destruct on Free Guinea Pigs.
This is still winnable here. We're seeing a swap from Sansky. They're going to be trying to go with the Brig, but as they lose Sweden Victor, he's going to have to be rezzed, and he's not in a position to be rezzed at all. So now it's going to be a lot of rotation from Free Guinea Pig to try to stay alive here, and they're just going to have to leave Cameron behind, unfortunately.
Valkyrie now going to be used by Axel in the back, trying to keep the team alive, along with giving some damage boost with the self-destruct high overhead, wanting to claim one, does get LWS, and that's going to be one tank out of the way so far. Seeing if they can get Nostalgia as well in the back line, as it's going to be J-Dog getting a great pick here onto Sweden Victor, as the Genji Blade does come out, seeing if they can claim more lives, dash onto Sansky, along with Sika going down. Valkyrie going to be forced, Battle Mercy coming out in addition to try and see if they can reach these golden arches to take it into map 5, as there's 3 minutes to go. Nobody here quick enough by Guinea Pig, but they will get the Winston just before with just over 1 meter left. J-Dog now going to use the Infraside. Here comes the rest of Guinea Pigs flooding out of that doorway, using the Wrecking Ball now, trying to use that Chaos versus Chaos as they look to try and keep it. One contested, 0.2 meters left to go, and they've been able to force them back with forcing the Transcendence as well. Actually, they're still going to stay in it. It will be now LWS continuing to try and keep this going with the Meteor Strike in the back, finally able to pressure away.
Oh, there's a self-destruct, though. That could push them off, and they just sneak it out with the self-destruct and created all the space that they needed. And that's Unprofessional tying things up.
Oh my goodness, I could not even believe that. The self-destruct as the zoning mechanism, preventing them from being on the point, allowing them to push this into map 5. This is what we want to see, these two teams going at it to see who is going to claim victory and continue to move forward. They don't want to get pushed out of this, and I am really interested to see how this last map is going to go.
Yeah, I mean, this is what is going to be the most interesting look, because yes, these teams have been back and forth. The beginning of this matchup, it seemed as though we saw Free Guinea Pig just squeaking things out. You know, they were kind of in control, but not decisively so. They were winning a lot of these, a lot of the fights that they were taking, but it didn't seem like Unprofessional was really out of those games. Meanwhile, we see this huge pivot at halftime where Unprofessional, takes their 10 minutes where, our desk is talking about everything, and Unprofessional just goes together as a team. And you know what, they're literally telling us as well at the same time. They're like, we also need, the minutes here to be able to take advantage of, being able to talk and discuss. This is a team that, as we talked about already, didn't really scrim at all. And by didn't really scrim, I mean literally did not scrim at all. So they're trying to figure things out as they go. And it seems like things are working for them. They're finding their groove. They're adapting. While it was a little bit slow on the outtake, they do might make that adaptation, and things are working smoothly for them now. So going into control map here, I think this is going to look a lot different, despite whatever map we see, whether it be Ilios, whether it be Nepal, Oasis, whatever it may be for map 5. This is still, I think, going to be looking wildly different than the first map that we saw where Free Guinea Pig was able to take that 1-2-1.
And again, I agree with you. But the interesting part with us going into Nepal, there is a lot of environmental opportunity. And again, with the compositions that they have been using, the Wrecking Ball, the Lucio, the Pharah, and I mean, even the Orisa in some cases on this team composition, I'm wondering if they're going to try and play that to their favor, because we saw a little bit of it on, again, Lijiang Tower. We saw it on the Bridgeway. There was a lot of opportunity. It allowed Free Guinea Pigs to claim that victory right at the tail end of it to keep them into this and now going to fuel them. I'm curious to see if they're going to try and play that as well with their composition and try and get those specific kills on this map, because there is so much opportunity with it.
Yeah, and I'm curious what map they're going to take too, because there's some question marks that I have, because Unprofessional has looked solid as of late, especially utilizing things like Widowmaker, things like, we even started with Rialto, where they were looking good with Farah as well. Lewis looks phenomenal. Even J-Dog looked good when he flexed over to that as well. And we saw them able to utilize the Hammond very well. I mean, things are definitely looking up for them, and I think Control is going to lend to this big change that we see, where they can utilize some of these heroes. It's really going to be down to Free Guinea Pig, again, trying to create space, trying to make sure that they're shutting down Tetrix as much as possible, while also protecting their teammates. And that's been kind of a point actually to look at, is that NBZ has been struggling to keep up with the pressure that's been put out by Unprofessional. Before he didn't have much to deal with. He was just focused on creating pressure himself. But now he has a lot to deal with. Now he has to, make sure that when he is on D.Va, he's not only just diving and creating space for the rest of his team, but also forcing back, making sure that he's peeling, because there's just so much different avenues of pressure that Unprofessional is taking up to really kind of throw a curveball at Free Guinea Pig. Agreed.
And I'm hoping, again, for Guinea Pig to try and actually claim victory in this, that they do get some focus on to Tetrix. Again, it's literally been so many doors and windows opened for that team and just giving them the opportunity to claim victory against Guinea Pigs with those bionic grenades. I mean, they were able to, especially on the defensive side for Hollywood, they responded effectively, like you said, even during, the match, that they were able to cover for their supports, allowing them to withstand that initial bionic grenade, which claimed so many members in the purple. That now they're going to need to just make sure that they can either prevent Tetrix from landing these types of amazing bionic grenades, which we've seen, or they're going to have to take Tetrix out immediately and hopefully again have that harass. You saw them switch late onto that wrecking ball at the tail end of it, and I think they really should revert back to it. You've made such great cases about that chaos versus chaos, and I'm very much on board with that it's going to help them. Or if they want to have honestly just a super focus onto Tetrix, I mean, it's difficult for them, because if they do focus all their attention on Tetrix, Lewis now is going to be able to reign free, which we've seen so much damage coming out, and they're going to generate so much charge out of it, and it's going to be so hard in this last match.
Absolutely, and J-Dog has been kind of, this silent threat as well, where we've been talking so much about Lewis and, what they've been able to accomplish as a team as a whole. Obviously, a lot of discussion about Tetrix, but J-Dog has been silently kind of creeping into these fights and really having a profound effect himself as well, especially when you look back onto Hollywood and look at some of the impact that he had with Widowmaker. I mean,
agreed.
Tremendous play from him as well. So you can't count anybody out from this Unprofessionals roster. Mechanically, they are definitely showing up here. It was just about trying to find something that worked for them to start dealing with a lot of the problems that they had, those pain points that we talked about before. And it seems like they have finally kind of, again, just found their stride. They're feeling themselves now a lot more. And with this composition that they've kind of settled into, where they're able to kind of create space for Tetrix, they're able to find their own way, I guess, in a sense, because they are kind of playing together, but they're playing less together, I suppose, because you do have Doomfist, you do have Sombra, you do have the Hammond playing alongside alongside the Diva. They don't have to coordinate as much, and as a team that doesn't practice together, this does kind of lend to their advantage a little bit, that they don't have to worry about coordinating as much as long as they can create a lot of havoc, and that's exactly what they're doing.
20 seconds now until the attack does begin, looking like we're going to see again Guinea Pigs going back to that traditional composition they have a little bit more in the first round of this match up today that we had. It is going to be Sweden Victor going on to the wrecking ball. We will see LWS as well. So there's going to be a lot of harass coming out by those wrecking balls, and see who can really do a better job of it, as we are going to move on to this first control point.
All right, things starting up. It's once again that same composition that Unprofessionals has pulled out. We'll have to see if it works out in their favor. Already on the point is for Guinea Pig, but can they hold on to it?
Seeing if they can try and get some flanking position here. You are going to see LWS along with the engage coming out by Lewis. Bionic grenade landing onto both tanks, having to tuck behind the pillars. That's going to give a doorway here for Unprofessional to get onto this point. Seeing if they can keep this engaged. Stun coming out though onto LWS by Brigitte. Axel doing a great job locking that tank down. Not going to be able to get out. J-Dog, though, is going to get the follow-up with the, oh my goodness, a DMEC and a kill onto Cameron, as they're going to look to try and exploit this. That Sombra doing so much work right now, as all the health values are getting extremely low for Guinea Pigs.
You have to wonder, do they have a Tracer player? Because that could be, a partial answer to some of the problems that they've been having. As long as they can avoid J-Dog's Sombra, they could really wreak havoc on the backline. I mean, Zen, Ana, that's not really food for Tracer, but it's something that Tracer can certainly start really kind of dealing with, and making sure that Tetrix and Floshy just don't feel completely safe like they have for the past three maps now, as we started things off the same way we ended them on Hollywood.
Self-destruct now going to come high overhead, trying to see if they can position it. Isn't going to gain the value that they wanted out of it, as we now continue to see what their movement is. In the back line, you do see them trying to contest against it. It will be 31% and climbing, forcing out the Transcendence here. On the point, as the Bionic Grenade is still in the pocket, wanting to be very careful here, with Lewis getting a Meteor Strike, caning 2. Unbelievable job on this point, as we are now going to see them still continue to maintain this.
They do lose Lewis, but everything else is safe. I mean, they're healthy everywhere else in the composition. They get some healing out, and LWS looks to try to take down some of those mines, clear them out, but takes his own life in the process.
EMP now available by J-Dog. They get an early hack onto the Wrecking Ball. Sweden Victor in a difficult position. Now Sika getting the kill early onto it with the EMP going to be used by J-Dog, trying to lock them down. Cameron getting a great boot kill as well onto Tetrix as they're now looking to try and stay in this fight. NBZ along with both supports here by Free Guinea Pigs looking to stay alive on this point with a self-destruct. They want to get here. They need to take this back. 76% and climbing still for Unprofessional as the minefield is going to come out. LWS in the back line with the rockets coming out from the outer side as they start to turn it around, finally getting it in their favor at 83% for Unprofessional.
Well, we'll see if Free Guinea Pig can hold on to this one. They have the ult to sustain this, but they have to make sure that they stay away from that biotic grenade. It's been such a problem for them. Finally, though, Sika finding a way into the backline and dealing with Flashy in that last fight, they have to continue that. If they want to be able to win this, they have to absolutely continue that pressure onto the backline.
Lewis now getting the nano boost, but the self-destruct high over in the backline. Get the pick onto the support. They are going to see if they can gain value out of this, but don't gain too much right now. Seeing if they can try and regroup. NBZ taking out Tetrix, and that's unfortunately going to be a solid retreat by Unprofessional.
Now they do wind up taking the mech from NBZ. They might be able to use that in their favor. He's not going to be able to remech for quite some time. If they don't give up too much ult charge here, they could engage on what is a mechless team, effectively a 6v5.25, I'll give it, because at least D.Va can get some damage and the remech might give them some damage, but it doesn't look like that might be the case unless they can... Oh, the biotic grenade!
And it's gonna now get the follow-up here with LWS getting out just in time, with Lewis getting not only kill, but a double kill onto both tanks going down. The EMP gonna follow up though by Sika, trying to lock them down, keeping them away. Meteor Strike almost able to claim the kill, but does get the translocate out as they now continue to try and scramble around this point. One member still contesting by Guinea Pigs as they look to retreat. It will be the minefield going to give them some opportunity here as they're still maintaining this point. 72% and climbing against 83 as Unprofessional now is going to have pretty much one last opportunity to contest this, to try and turn it around with two ultimates from both Nostalgia and J-Dog.
Seems things are working out for them. Sika certainly putting a little bit more focus on that backline, making sure that Flaushy is just having a little bit of trouble with it. And you can see him swapping over to the Lucio earlier because of that, specifically that.
Oh, and the EMP going to come out trying to lock them down, but a number of members were behind the wall, not going to be engaged. Sika getting the follow-up onto Nostalgia after the self-destruct does take out Skansky as now the charge comes in the back line. It will be LWS switching with the nano boost, trying to turn it back around 99%, and now Unprofessional has this opportunity to turn it back and does manage to do it. Still having the coalescence active though. They lose it and need to be careful now as we are now going to approach 99% very soon from Unprofessional. Nobody going to be able to push them away as it's only the three members remaining, seeing if they can switch it back. 99 going to be to 99 for both teams, still in favor of Unprofessional as the team looks to scramble back, finally switching it. Overtime ticking away. They need to get to this point. Unprofessional wanting to get on and does manage to do so with that overtime still ticking away. Sweden Victor using that pile drive to take out Nostalgia, getting that tank away as the Earth Shatter does come out in the back by LWS with the EMP in return, coming out by Sika, seeing if they can keep them away from this point. It ticks away, nobody there, does keep it into overtime. Oh goodness, they want to finally claim this first round, and does. Guinea Pig getting round one of Nepal.
That is that is cutthroat, back and forth with these two teams. That's actually insane that they were able to maintain composure in their element there, as we saw tons of opportunities for Unprofessional to steal that one away. They had control of the point there, but they just weren't able to find the kills. And eventually we saw Free Guinea Pig with their composition, they're able to get back to the point rather quickly, right? Cameron can pull anyone through. NBZ has the ability to just shift over. Sweden Victor obviously can get there insanely fast. Moira is one of the more mobile supports, and Sika obviously can just invis and just translocate over. So they were able to get back very quickly without really changing anything.
30 seconds now until the control point does become active. We're going to see LWS, though, using that Orisa. They want to try and take advantage of this environmental opportunity. D.Va, Lucio, and also the Wrecking Ball for Free Guinea Pigs also having that opportunity. Lewis now getting very far into the backline, needing to be careful, does get engaged, and they want to exploit it. Oh, goodness, they got some great vision early on to Sika, or by Sika onto Lewis, as now they're going to look to try and capture this point in this first section.
Well, now it's going to be the other side, Unprofessional playing with the Orisa, and we do get a pause. Not sure what happened there. A little technical difficulty perhaps on the side of Nostalgia. So we will go ahead and make sure that they're okay. And Unprofessional certainly wants to make sure that everything is going good for them because they did just lose that last round on this last map. Winner of this round, or rather, winner of this map, will decide who winds up not only just taking this series, but also still maintaining that possibility for a playoffs berth here, because that's what's on the line here. Trying to get into the playoffs, trying to make it into trials, trying to move up to contenders, trying to get something more than just the Blizzard bucks, right? Trying to make it into the real cash, right?
And it's so much on the line for both of these teams. And as we wait for this reconnect to come out by Nostalgia, to already get that early pick and just evaluate what has already happened, that's allowing Guinea Pigs to get the first initial grab on this point. And again, having that triple support composition with the 2 tanks and Sombra as the DPS, they've already been able to manage this point effectively. They have the increased healing. They're going to look to try and potentially get some great picks here, though, by Lewis. That halt is going to be crucial for them, but I guarantee you Guinea Pigs are not going to stay anywhere near that outskirt to make sure that they can prevent that halt from happening.
They definitely have to make sure that they're not, putting themselves in a bad position. But here's the thing, there are a couple of ways that they can get away from it, at least a few of them. Cameron could ride the wall. Sweden Victor can just maybe save himself with a little right click. NBZ can shift up. Sika could translocate, so there is some opportunity there. But either way, Unprofessional getting backed up into the corner. Sweden Victor low, and they do take advantage of that.
Nostalgia does get that kill, as you said. Moving forward, they are going to try and follow up. They're getting a DMAC now onto NBZ, and you see Guinea Pigs still being extremely aggressive, even though they've lost quite a bit. Now getting the follow-up, and this is where they're going to excel. Again, that chaos that we've seen from them before on the control point, they are going to do the same here at 20% and continuing to prevent this team of Unprofessional from getting back to the point.
Oh, NBZ actually just going for a reset himself, getting away. I'm not sure if that was really the play. Maybe he didn't mean to, but he went straight down. Like, that was definitely intentional. I'm not really sure why he did that. They certainly wanted to just contest here. Maybe that was just a mistake on their part that would have lent them a little bit of more opportunity to hang on. But despite that, Unprofessional will eventually take this one in their control, in their favor here, as they do pull away with quite a few ults in tow as well. And while we will see Free Guinea Pig having a few answers themselves, especially coming up very shortly, as they'll have four more coming up to respond with that Coalescence that's already there from Stansky. Let's see how these two work into each other and what kind of protection they can give J-Dog for his Deadeye.
Already seen that Valkyrie come out in the back line. Here comes the Transcendence as well. Those minefields seeing so many ultimates out by the supports, and they are locked in the corner. They have that supercharger for the damage, as it will be Unprofessional now claiming so many lives with that damage boost, and that's going to be so much a last-minute kill, unfortunately, onto LWS. But they just expended a lot of ultimates, managing to still keep Lewis's rally. But that's going to be interesting now with them soon to have that self-destruct EMP and having that Lucio sound barrier.
And it's so interesting, too, that the one that they actually keep is the one that doesn't really matter that they keep, because you're going to use it outside of a fight anyways.
Very, very true. And now you're going to see the aggression come in by Guinea Pigs in the back, once again trying to lock them in this corner, seeing if they can get an opportunity once again. But Lewis getting a double kill onto Sika and NBZ out of the map, as they do still have this at 62% and climbing for Unprofessional. They want to get this. They need the res. There it is onto Tetrix, on the Zenyatta, seeing if they can keep this team alive, and they're running a lot of time right now. Free Guinea Pigs gonna have to force a reset right now to see if they can try and turn this back.
So they dropped the Orisa a while ago and went to the Winston. I think this really kind of works in their favor, because they're able to really put some pressure into that backline. Once again, we're seeing, how Free Guinea Pig is just struggling to deal with that. Yes, they have the Brigitte, but sometimes he's just not in the position that he needs to be to peel LWS off of his supports.
Self-destruct thrown in the back by both sides. J-Dog with that Deadeye claiming the kill on NB's before the remake. And now following up here onto Cameron, able to get a double kill. Triple kill now with the flashbang, taking down Sweden. Quad kill coming on to Sicko, popping off right now in the 99 overtime, as they want to clear them off this point so that they can go into this third and final round of Nepal.
J-Dog silent no longer. All it took was the McCree. That man is, on fire. Doesn't even begin to explain how good his McCree was in that last set on Sanctum. And then now we are going to be moving over to Village. Yes, he could play McCree again if he's feeling it. That certainly is a possibility. Do they want to go over to the Pharah instead? That's another option for them as well. Or do they just straight up play Goats, which is what they're on right now? They have J-Dog maybe going for the Mei here and playing into, you know, something that we've seen on like Control Center as well. We'll have to see if they wind up sticking with that, how comfortable they feel. Obviously, this is considered, you know, one of Mei's best maps, not just because of the snow that's all over the place, and it might be easier to channel that ice a little bit better, but you know, it's also just the way that the map is created, like the design of the map, the way that you could just shut down the control point and lock teams in and force them to fight you, especially with this goat style composition. This could actually really be a big boon for them.
Guinea Pigs now in the back is going to get separated. Oh, that Mei wall coming in so crucial right now for them, trying to lock down that front line as they are able to survive through it, starting to force them back. Unprofessional now in this position to claim this point, getting a nice freeze into the back on NBZ, looking to now get another isolate them away, wanting the follow-up. Lewis does get Sika, but unfortunately is going to go down, and a lightning fast Earth Shatter going to come out on this side, as it will now be. Wow, Guinea Pigs just getting some great push. Coalescence going to be coming out in the back. Tetrix going to be using it with the self-destruct. Going to be walled off. Only one member going down. Starting to be in favor of Guinea Pigs now. Trying to push them away. Coalescence going to be used as well by this team of red. Guinea Pigs seeing if they can hold them back. Starting to get onto this point rapidly. Nobody claiming it yet. Graviton coming out as well. Trying to lock them down. Both of these teams giving it their all just to see if they can try and claim this capture point first. As LWS gets another pick onto Axel. Seeing if they can hold back with the self-destruct, zoning them off this point. Now starting to switch in favor of Unprofessional, but they're getting back once again. Still gonna have that Zarya Sika in the back, trying to harass with the shield as the sound barrier does come out from Unprofessional, keeping them alive as it looks to finally turn over to Unprofessional.
Isolation is the name of the game here. The Mei worked out in the end. They were able to find the kills early on, but you know, at the end of the day, those ice walls were humongous. I mean, just so good at creating extra pressure by taking targets out and allowing them to just target and focus one person at a time.
And they're getting a beautiful flank with the Blizzard, gonna try and lock them down. Wall prevent them from moving through that core to make them run completely into their team, but Unprofessional now needing to be careful. A lot of health values low. Tetrix almost being picked off along with J-Dog, who does finally go down. The DMEC comes out though onto NBZ, so they do have that tank advantage right now for Unprofessional as the Coalescence does come out, trying to reposition in the back section, but the Graviton will be used once again from both sides, locking the teams away, and it's gonna be Sika now trying to get onto the front line to turn it back with the sound barrier coming out by Cameron. Two ultimates still remaining. Self-destruct gonna be forced onto the point, seeing if they can push it back. LWS getting a double on this Reinhardt as they still manage to hold it. Percent still climbing. Earth Shatter going to be used. It will be still in favor of Guinea Pigs though, as it's looking to try and get this kill onto Nostalgia. Having that wall coming out, Lucio still surviving on this point. They are not wanting to give this up, still keeping it as long as possible to generate as much percent. They do not want to lose this. Coalescence now available for Tetrix. Having Nostalgia using the self-destruct once again to see if they can get it. Is not going to be pushed. They will get the re-engage on this point, as looking like, oh my goodness, it will be Guinea Pigs still trying to survive, holding it back. A double kill, one of them being the DMEC, as Axel gets the follow-up. 6 members of Guinea Pigs still surviving at 78%. Now finally turning it around with Guinea Pigs giving it their all.
And they literally gave it their all. They had to use so much to be able to take that fight there, and coming into this, you know, 78% deficit. This is it. This is the last round of the last map. Loser, I mean, is going to have another matchup to save face, but you know, they will be out of the playoffs. Winner goes forward as a possible contender there, and Lewis, J-Dog, both very close to having those huge tide turners. I mean, Graviton Surge into the Mei as well. Having that Blizzard, that's going to be possibly very big.
Wall now separating them on the bridge, forcing them to reposition, but they are completely overwhelmed right now, getting locked down. You see Unprofessional completely surrounding the team. Guinea Pigs as they're trying to get a pick. Nobody going down, getting the DMEC at least onto Nostalgia in favor of pre-Guinea Pigs, as they're now starting to get the kills. 45% still looking to climb as Unprofessional once again looks to fall back. What do you think they're going to do right now?
Well, they're definitely going to want to execute on this combo, right? Blizzard onto the Graviton Surge, but here's the issue. Last time we saw a Graviton Surge duel, Sika came out a little bit ahead. Free Guinea Pig was just there, had Cameron as well with the sound barrier. Those same things are ready to go once again. They could survive here.
And the Graviton's gonna pull them together, coming out by Guinea Pigs as they're looking to follow up with the self-destruct, able to at least get one. LWS going down, the Coalescence is gonna come out. This defensive side here for 75%. It's still climbing for Guinea Pigs, getting another quick clear. This is gonna be it, the last opportunity. Unprofessional has to wait to find the opportunity to use this combo as they only have 15% left to go.
So good of Cameron to hold on to the sound barrier. They're definitely going to need it going forward here, and Nostalgia is very close to a self-destruct himself, so that could kind of ward them off a little bit after they go for that Blizzard combo into the Graviton Surge, which is going to be necessary for them to take this fight.
And here comes the Graviton wanting to follow it up with the Blizzard, does manage to do it. They are going to use the sound barrier by Cameron, trying to keep them alive. And BZ now going to get a DMAX with a self-destruct coming into the back, 99% to 78, looking to turn it back around as they're still trying to contest on this point. Self-destruct able to take out Sweden Victor in the back line as they're still wanting to hold on to it to get back as quickly as possible. Charge coming out, but now the sound barrier by Unprofessional, keeping this team alive. Lucio getting it out just in time as they're going to survive through the incoming damage. 4v2 right now, still on the point in favor of Unprofessional, wanting to get them out of it. Double kill by the Lucio from Unprofessional, as it will unfortunately be D.Va going down. Nostalgia, but they've managed to hold it and turn it back around.
Oh, the timing of this, though. LWS is going to be able to sneak an Earthshatter because, you know, we're going to see a quick engage from Free Guinea Pig who want to go in there and set up and contest. LWS, oh, too quick on the trigger finger, my guy.
And now the wall's going to come out. They have 5% to get there. It has to be the Reinhardt. Can he make it in time? 2% still remaining. Are they going to keep it? And they managed to do it. Getting back onto this point. A lot of lives being jeopardized right now with this aggressive push. Unprofessional getting the DMAX along with Axel going down. Nostalgia getting two. Going to follow up with the Coalescence now as Unprofessional is in the point to try and claim victory here to move on in this overall tournament, as it will be Unprofessional claiming victory on Nepal.
Oh, everybody just take a breath because I feel like we need it. You know, I mean, even if I was just spectating this, I would be on the edge of my seat right now, just how close these two teams have been throughout this set, and then how insane it's been to see Unprofessional make such a fast adjustment and be able to turn things around and look so consistent after that. Free Guinea Pig did look a lot better in the the latter half of you know, that setup where we saw them kind of slowly getting back into the swing of things, looking more confident, looking more like themselves from what we saw at the beginning of the series. But ultimately, it came down to Unprofessionals just playing slightly better. And at the end of the day, sometimes that's just what it takes. I mean, you know, we see the May come out. It didn't work out very quickly, but at the end of the day, also it just seemed to kind of come together. The walls created those isolations. The Blizzard really started working. We started to see them get some freezes. Actually, that was something they struggled early on with the May. They weren't getting the freezes that they wanted. They weren't getting as much executes off of the isolations, but slowly but surely Unprofessional started to get, again, they started to adapt. They started to get things clicking again. And that's been the story of the entire set as well.
And it's moments like that that make Overwatch so exciting. My heart is still racing from that match. And as you said, that composition, the May wall, right at the tail end of it. Oh my, that wall separation. They didn't manage to get the Earthshatter to benefit them. The Reinhardt shield was there to protect it, but that wall bought enough time to force the push from the Reinhardt to try and keep Guinea Pigs in that fight. And unfortunately, they just then streamed in too late onto that point, and they already claimed dominance by Unprofessional. And again, I still am in awe by that gameplay. And this is what we look to see, though, when it comes to matches like this, the intensity between two teams, the response to one another's gameplay, their compositions. And it was literally a beautiful display from both teams, not a disappointment. For us as the casters, the analysis that's going to come out from our analysis table, along with any of the viewers, that was one exciting match set today for these two teams.
Absolutely. Easily one of the best open division matches that we've seen, even amongst several other seasons that we've covered as well. So, I mean, great stuff from Unprofessional. You could tell that there was a lot of emotion going into that just by, you know, what happened with LWS's Earthshatter. But overall, insane matchup. Love to see more from these guys.
Agreed. Now let's go ahead and take that last jaw-dropping match to the desk and see what they have to say on this intense last fight.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Wow, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I came today's broadcast feeling a little tired. Like, I could use like 8 more cups of coffee. Like, wow, this was way better than coffee. This was an incredible matchup here. Let's take it back to HLC. Paulsable, if you blinked, you missed it.
Man, this is where Unprofessional came out, and they looked like an entirely different team. I believe another caster might have implied that they were sandbagging, maybe. Like it
Yeah,
was
I don't
it
know
was
who you're talking
crazy, right? Like the difference in coordination, in ult management, Lewis coming out on that Doomfist and just winning fights single-handedly. It was like I wasn't even casting it. My heart is still racing.
Well,
Just insane.
Well, one of the hero or players who was able to help enable Lewis was Tetrix on with his biotic grenades. Beatdown. Anything you want to add there?
Yeah, definitely. Tetrix, a really great, just support player all in general, but really great Ana player. Lands the key grenades, lands the key sleep darts, even makes the really smart. Makes really smart usage out of the nano boost. He nanos their Zenyatta during the Horizon Lunar Colony game. One, it keeps him protected from the dive, and it actually allows him to build the Transcendence so much faster, which they managed to use and save that fight.
Yeah, it was incredible. I was having so much fun watching Tetrix. But on Guinea Pig side, we did have some great play from another support. Cameron was doing some pretty sneaky plays here and there. Paul.
Oh yeah, on Hollywood for Free Guinea Pig's offense, it was easily the story of Cameron, right? He successfully hid from the EMP when they're coming out of the gate on that second push. Sound barriers right afterwards. It completely nullifies that crucial ultimate from J-Dog. Just enables his team to steamroll through. They couldn't get all the way through because second point Hollywood is a long point. But, you know, it was his play that enabled that. And he was actually doing a really good job. Probably one of the more solid players on his team.
Yeah, and speaking of Transcendence and whatever, like we had Tetrix even on Nepal here, jumping on like here comes the minefield, and like let's use that Transcendence to clear things up a bit here.
I loved that play.
That was literally like just further proof. What a such a smart support player.
Such a absolute G. This guy was a sub for this team.
Half the team are subs.
We were worried going in, like, oh no, they have new support
Whoa,
players.
whoa.
Well,
we were not worried. You were worried. I believed in Unprofessional that they would just flip the switch and get it together. And
I've never been more happy to be wrong. That was an absolutely entertaining match.
Absolutely.
Most fun match I've seen in Europe Open Division to date.
Yep.
Just insane.
Yep.
Well, let's take it to Nepal down here. Let's go wind things down and go to Nepal. And here on Village, one of you, it was Plausible, said, you know, it's ending how it began. We saw, Unprofessional.
Same, right? You come Village and Control Center. They have moderately similar metas, so it was pretty great. You know, we saw the same comps they came out of the gate with, only it was actually it was Unprofessional making it work this time, and grabbing that victory, grabbing the W.
Bito, is there anything you noticed in Nepal? Any of the three maps here that you wanted to bring up here?
I want to talk about Village just a little more, I guess, because I think that one really stood out. That first team fight was so long, but really kudos to Unprofessional for surviving long enough to stack enough ults. And again, I feel like we keep beating this dead horse, but Lewis charges, getting the grab so quickly, really just sealed the deal.
And it wasn't even grabs for like Nepal as a whole map, right? Because the reason that Free Guinea Pigs win Shrine, right, is because they recognize after 2 maps, hey, Lewis on this Doomfist is kind of murdering us. We should probably do something. They focus him down. Without him, Unprofessional was not able to make a dent in their lines, right? But then Lewis, when they get over to Sanctum, is like, they're focusing me on this Doomfist. I'm gonna switch to a hero that is harder for them to kill me, Brigitte, and they roll through that. And then he gets back onto the Zarya, which he's so good on, and they roll through Village, and such a brilliant player. Contenders teams, look at this man.
Seriously.
Also Tetrix, look at Tetrix.
Yes.
All right,
agreed.
we have to cut to break. It's been a wonderful, amazing matchup here. I want to thank Rich Rad and Herix, our casters. They're amazing. And thank you, Beat and Plausible. We'll talk to you in a few moments here. And you at home, we'll talk to you again soon.